There is so much happening in this world, but we can all feel it. We can all feel there is some sort of climax that has yet to occur, or at least that's how it feels, okay? And the thing is that that might be a collective trauma response to what has happened in recent years, especially in 2020, and collectively, how we all went through something collectively that was traumatic, regardless of your stance, regardless of what you believed or what you looked for, or what you experienced. It was a very traumatic experience, regardless of your perception, okay, or your experience with it. So collectively, I do believe there is a part of us that is hyper vigilant, and we are often looking where is the next ball going to drop. But the thing is that lately, for 2024, there has been a feeling of like this internal knowing, and I think it's due to the fact that when 2020 was going to happen in 2019, I do believe there was a lot happening that happened to many of us right before, especially those of us who are sensitive to energies, who are deeply intuitive. We felt and sensed when something was array, especially with the amount of changes and things happening, almost pushing us to a certain space. In 2019, for many of us, not all of us, that happened in 2020 for a lot of other people. A lot of people, not everyone, okay? So the gist of this message is for those of you who feel like there is something going to happen and you are 100% sure that you are taking measures into your hands when it comes to your well-being, your mental health, your energetic health, your emotional health, your physical health, and your spiritual health, all of that, which is important in order for you to know that all of this, that which is you're feeling, is not just something that may be array within yourself, because it is important, and it is our responsibility in order for us to understand and to share, especially those of us who are in a community where we share intuitive gifts and we share our messages, our energy updates, collective updates, whatever you share your gifts in that way or with other people. It might not even be through media or in any place, but you share somehow this intuitive knowing. As long as you are taking care of yourself and you have that clarity that there is this knowing. Now, with that being said, you have this knowing and you're good in all, and you are aware that there is a happening at this time. It is imperative for us to form community with each other. That includes people around you. That includes putting your differences aside. That includes putting your ego to the side for this moment. Now, I am not saying your ego is an issue. I am not one of those people that will say ego needs to go, because your ego is necessary. You may experience ego death, and I do agree that that's a thing, but ego death doesn't mean forever dead. Ego death, I don't necessarily see it as a death. If anything, I see it more as a transformation, which death in many occasions means transformation. So, speaking in terms of transformation, what we are feeling right now after this eclipse is change. It's a pivotal point for humanity in our collective consciousness right now, because we are living in a collective consciousness in this period of time on earth. Okay, now I want you to remember that, because I want you to realize that many collective consciousness lived on earth, and some of us remember that, and some of us have that triggering in our minds and our bodies and our DNA. Our souls remember the events leading up to certain things from past lives. Now, This message is for those of you who understand what I'm saying. Understand the words coming out of my mouth. So there is a collective change after this eclipse. Now, I connected, or really, this is from my perspective, not saying this is for everyone. I'm saying this is how I perceived it personally. I perceived the eclipse very closely connected to the resurrection, the story and of the resurrection of Jesus Christ. Jesus died and came back in 3 days, correct? And if you look at the depiction of a tomb of where Jesus was supposed to be when he died and resurrected, was a tomb, was a circle, right? And if you look at the sun and you look at the way that the thing goes about, the eclipse, it's like a closing and an opening of light. And the sun is closely connected to Jesus because the Son of God, Son. Okay, anyways, I'm not gonna go further into that. If you know, you know. If you know, you know. So there's that energy of resurrection, of death and rebirth. That's why many of us felt a sudden but a very potent sort of kick in the ass or ignition of energy to propel us forward in whatever space was needed in our lives. Okay, it's gonna be different for all of us. It's not gonna be the same, but we are collectively united in the sense, like, yes, there are going to be certain similarities within the collective consciousness, because what this is doing is helping us all propel forward collectively as well. So in a way, it is unique individually to what happens within our lives, but it's also collective as because we are connected. That is another message that was coming through today, which I think is important for me to share with you guys. I had just shared privately, but I'll share with you guys. The message was that it is important for us to take a moment to pause and realize how connected everything is. And it doesn't matter whether there are people who are doing things that you deem as lower vibration, or things that you may not understand or may not be a part of, may look or deem it as negative, as dark. And it's not to say that they aren't those things, but everything is connected. And so when you take a moment to pause and feel that, and truly feel that, and be present in this moment, present in where you are and the people and the things around you, you come to realize how much we are connected in subtleties. Okay, how much it doesn't matter for us to sit there and judge somebody else, how much it matters more for us to really pay attention to our present moment, to who we are and what we are doing now, and not what other people are doing. And I know that's like obvious, but I think that it's important to not get lost in the sauce, especially when you do have gifts. You're intuitive, or you have a sort of like mission that you're aware of, or a soul mission, or just in general, because regardless of missions or no missions, and I'm just using a word to use a word for understanding, but I truly believe it's just really a journey, your human journey, and it's all working for us together. So if anything, and if when anything happens and we feel it collectively, it will happen to us collectively. So it doesn't matter whether or not you agree with what someone else wears, what someone else does in their free time. At the end of the day, that's not going to matter when they're dead, is it? Or when you're dead, will it? No. That's how we humble ourselves, or like bring ourselves back into humility. Not to say that we are going to be stepped on and allow being stepped on. It's more to say that We are connected. We are all one. And it is a fundamental truth that many of us forget, that we realized and remembered when we first started in our journey. But some of us forget along the way. Okay, some of us have a hard time grasping that reality and that truth at our core at all times, and that's nothing wrong with you. We are human, you are human, and that's my point, is that we are all human and we are here together, and whatever happens and when it happens, we remember that, and that is the most important, crucial key to our survival as a conscious collective, and to our survival of our remembering, our memories, our good, okay, our heart. What is important here? What is important here for the human race? What is important here as a human collective? Why are we here? Why are you here? Why are we here together? Why do we have all these experiences that we do with each other? Why do we form connections? Why is it so important for so many of us? As much as you want to deny it, it is important for you to form connections, and you know it, and you want it, and you secretly seek it. 11:11 at the clock. Confirmation, we are connected regardless of whether you like it or not. So whether you have judgments or not for other people, whether you have your set ways or not, at the end of the day, it is important for us to remember why we're here. And when things do happen, because they will, many of us feel it, and many of us know. Many of us want to prevent it from happening. You cannot control what things happen. The only thing you can control is how you handle a situation, is what you do with a situation, is what you do with the information, is what you do with yourself, right? So I think that the message is, it's enough with the talk for all of us, including myself. And it's now time to take action. It is now time to ground everything we've learned. Everything you've learned, is time to ground it deeply within, rooted within your DNA, within your soul, within your mind, within your being, within yourself and your consciousness, because that will be tested within your action. And like they say, it doesn't matter what you say, it matters what you do. And this is where it is crucial, where the pivot, where the transition will be crucial for each and every one of us. As a collective, we must remember and remind each other why it is crucial for us to join forces, regardless of our thoughts on politics, on color, on regardless, and this is all coming down as a message, and I can feel it. Regardless of what we think someone is doing wrong or what we think someone is doing right, because what is important is what you do with your time, with the people that you love, with the things that you have, with the lessons that you've learned. And if you are divinely guided, and if you have a connection with the divine, with God, and you have a connection with guidance in general, spiritual guidance, and you have spiritual gifts that were bestowed upon you, and you have nurtured them, and you have empowered yourself to understand at a deeper level, whether these gifts are gifts of knowledge, gifts of knowing, gifts of sight, gifts of hearing, gifts of smell, regardless of the kind of gift, it is important to remember you are human and you are here with other humans. And that has been one of the most greatest lessons and the most greatest test for you, and will continue being, especially during crucial times of shifting and change for the collective consciousness in general. Okay, so if you have a gift, remember that it is a gift, and it is seen as a gift for a reason. Do not go down that rabbit hole. Of course, I'm just literally telling you, you do whatever you want. But from the message coming through, it is I'm seeing it as, do not go down that rabbit hole of being and feeling superior to your human brothers and sisters. because you aren't. You also bleed, and you will also die. And that is the point of me bringing up death. Is that at the end of the day, we are all alive because of our beating heart that we share as one. We all need that beating heart to stay alive. Okay? Remember that. Remember that the earth also has a beating heart. And we are connected to the earth. Do not remove yourself so much from the earth. And I'm not talking about the world. I'm talking about the earth. Don't forget where you came from. And don't forget everything you've learned. Everything that you had to master and understand through experience to get to where you are now. Remember that, because that will be crucial in whatever happens next for our collective consciousness.